lovely people, it's Cara here and I am so mad. So I bring to you today a video I've never attempted before. I'm also just literally post haircut, just had my haircut for the first time in 3 months, so I'm like, oh look how much shorter it is, but I'm really pleased. It just my hair's gone into shock, I think, a little bit, so have I. But I wanted to pop on and explain a little bit about this video. So I have sewn the Dawn jeans and I explain all the options I've made and everything. But the bit I wanted to add here, just before the video starts, is it is a really long video, the longest I've ever filmed. But I've put it in chapters, so you'll be able to have the option of jumping through which bit you want to see. Of course, I'd love it if you'd watch the whole thing, but it is a long video and I appreciate that's not for everybody. So there are chapters across the bottom and it'll say like pockets, I don't know, top stitching, fly button, all those sorts of things. So just wanted to say you have the option to jump around on it. Right at the very end, I give you a bit of a twirl and an overview of the pattern and the experience all together. So if that'll be sort of the more traditional sort of 10-minute section, the rest I really genuinely have sewn this with you. And the only bits you don't see are me ironing and overlocking. So I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll leave you to it. Hello lovely people, it's Cara here and today I'm doing something completely different. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone. Never done anything like this before in terms of trying to take you on a journey with me whilst I sew. So today I am going to be sewing the Dawn jeans. I talked about the fabric I'm using for these in my Sew What Next video, and the fabric for this project has been given to me by Felicity Fabrics. It's a beautiful 8.5 ounce denim. I'll show you more details of it as I go through the process. Now I'm filming this on a Sunday morning. My family is in the house, including dogs, husband, daughter, and anything can happen and is likely to. So if I hear noises in the background, it's just family life going on around us, as I'm sure you all experience. So my husband's bound to appear at some stage, keeps promising to, and I'm sure my dogs will want to do a, oh, here's my daughter as well, poking her head around the corner. So, asking me questions. Yes, you can take the guillotine, it's in the sewing room on the left hand side. As I say, it's going to be general life going on in my house, so yeah, I'm sure you get used to it. So I have cut out the pieces already. I've done a bit of footage to show that process, so with any luck, if that's worked, I'll add that in here somewhere so that you can see that. And I genuinely have literally sat down to sew these jeans. So I'm genuinely sitting down to cut to make these Dawn jeans for the first time. I have read some sections of the book, but I haven't gone through it in complete detail. So I will be sewing these jeans with you as I come across them, warts and all. There are a few decisions I've made ahead of time. So I'm going to be sewing the Dawn jeans with the concealed button placket. Well, that's my plan at this stage. There are a number of options with the Dawn jeans. You can do a fly, traditional fly zip, or zip fly, sorry. You've got the exposed button placket and also a concealed button placket, and that's what I've decided to go with. I'm also going to only use a contrasting colour cotton. What I've chosen, actually, if I take it out of my machine here, I want to show you. I've chosen a sort of like a very light cream cotton. Now, clearly, when you're making jeans, you would normally do you normally construct the jeans using a contrast, you know, a coordinating colour thread, and then you would use top stitching thread. And I'm happy to do that. I've done that on lots of different projects. But on this occasion I've decided I'm going to construct the jeans and actually top stitch the jeans all in the same cotton. you could say that's laziness on my part, but actually I also want to experiment with it because I've seen a number of other people do it that way. And as you know, one of the tedious is some people find it really relaxing, some people find it frustrating. I don't think I'd use the word tedious actually, but interchanging between top stitch thread and standard thread is time consuming. So I just wanted to see how it goes. I actually was looking to see if I had something like a triple stitch or something like that. So we'll come at a way whereby you can use standard thread, but it'll go over over it several times. But we'll have a look at that as we go through, and make a choice at some stage. But I'm not going to be using top stitch thread on these jeans because I think the cream colour will show up really nicely with the denim anyway. This is you'll see it as we go through the process. So that's the beautiful colour of the denim, and I think the cream standard thread will show up really well on this anyway. My iron and overlocker are in the sunroom behind me, which is where I normally would be filming. I've decided to sit at my dining room table and record this with you. So I'm not going to show you when I'm overlocking, I don't think. I'll show you the after product, and I'm not going to sort of take you with me to iron. So it'll be an interesting mix, and hopefully at the end of it we'll have a pair of jeans and you'll see what it's been like for me and my head scratching moments in making the Dawn jeans. So let's get started. So I've been through, so the little booklet that she provides is excellent actually, and I say in my little clip that I've put together, so far the cutting out of these jeans has been really straightforward. Well, I've also got my glasses on today. I don't think you've seen me with my glasses on before, but I do sew in glasses. Yeah, it's been really straightforward, really easily numbered. I really like that it says, for example here, wide leg jeans, pattern pieces 5 to 16. For example, tapered leg jeans would be pattern pieces 1 to 7 to 16. So really clear and easy to go with. And that's the other thing I should say. I've decided to go with the wide leg denim jeans. I have got a number of pairs of skinny jeans in my wardrobe. Shop bought ones majority. I buy my jeans from Hollister, just can't beat them. And then the Mia jeans are quite a tapered crop leg, and I've got quite a few pairs of those. The Ultimate trousers are quite a similar shape to that, and then I really like the Sophia wide leg trousers from Tilly and the Buttons. As you know, I've made many pairs of those, as well as the dungarees, and actually I thought, why not? I really like that shape, and I think sometimes sewing should be about doing something different. And just experimenting a little bit with different shapes. So that's what I've decided to go for today. I'm going, in this sewing session, I'm going for wide crop leg Dawn jeans. So the prep work, so I'm on page 9, and the prep work and stay stitching. So it advises that you should use an appropriate denim needle, which I have, and then it advises to test your top stitching and things like that. As I've said, I'm not going to do that. I've got my cup of tea on the go here. Doesn't say that in the book, but I think it's really important. So I'm going to do some stay stitching here before you start construction. So pieces, the raw edge along the top edge of the front, the pocket facing, and the yoke. So let me grab those. It's interesting actually, I'm about to do the top stitching, and I'll do some top stitching whilst I talk to you. But these, the Dawn jeans are actually non-stretch denim. So obviously you'd normally do stay stitching, which is what I'm going to do, where you've got, I'm just checking which way out this goes. You normally do stay stitching where you've got stretch fabric, but obviously I haven't got stretch fabric, so I believe the Dawn jeans are almost the same as the Ash jeans from Nielsen, and the Ash jeans are a stretch denim make as opposed to a non-stretch denim. So I think that's probably why it's there, but I guess a little bit of stay stitching doesn't hurt. Okay, so I'm stay stitching here at 1.5 or 5/8 of an inch from the top edge. just doing the yoke pieces here, just making sure I've got them up the right way. Yep. What you guys are up to today, what you're sewing. I often think about that when I'm sitting at the sewing table. And here we are, we've got the front pieces of the jeans, and it's just this top edge that I'm stay stitching. Okay, and actually you can see here how lovely and visible that stitching is. If I come in a little bit closer, mind my tea, you can see that? Yeah. So that's why I think in this instance the top stitching will be without a top stitching thread will be okay, but it's not for everybody. Okay, so we're underway. So stay stitching complete, and then the next, so that's page 1 done, or page 9 done. The next stage is actually to overlock the inside seam, the inside crotch seam of the front of your jeans. And actually what I've done is you can see that very well, I can come up quite close. I've sort of put different coloured threads in my overlocker. So I've sort of got, instead of just the standard white or standard black or standard blue, I've actually put a different colour blue on each of the spools of the overlocker. I'll insert a picture so you can see what that looks like. I just think it adds a little something different to the finish of the edges. So that's now complete. I think I can put those to one side for now, as I think we're going to move on to the button fly. So let's have a look here. Okay, so it says apply interfacing to wrong side of button fly. So this is the button fly itself, and there is my interfacing. And I just wanted to show you how I mark buttons. So this is how I would do it. Actually, I haven't got all the tools I need, so just bear with me. Okay, so I'm sure there are lots of different ways that you have to mark buttons, but I like to use pins when I'm marking placements. So if you can see here, I've put in, there are lines to demarcate where the buttons go. I hope you can see that on there. And what I do is I put a pin in each one, and then let's just turn the camera down a little. See all the stuff on my table here. I'm not sure that's going to show up very well, but I'm sure trials and tribulations is showing you things whilst videoing it. So basically what I'm going to do now is where the pins go in, I'm going to put my mark on both sides. And so you put buttons in. Oh, hang on. So yeah, once you've done one, you take the pins out. Mark the holes, placements for the next one. If you wanted to, you could make that into a line. I'll do that for you, like that. There you go. Last one. Like that. So then you can see that it's really accurately marked where the buttonholes are going to be. I'll just tip this back up again so you can see. Ooh. I did that once before. My glamorous hand placement. Okay, so it's saying apply fusible interfacing, fold the button fly in half, wrong sides together. Looks like that. Okay. So let's just pop a pin in the top there, out of the way. And in the bottom there, out of the way, to keep that together. And then it says fold the buttonhole, sew 3 buttonholes in the positions indicated on the pattern, now in top stitch thread. Now actually my machine doesn't like sewing buttons in top stitch thread anyway, so I would have used a standard cotton at this stage. And then it gives some instructions as to which type of buttonhole to do. So I have a particular preference, and I'll show you that in a second. So my machine does buttonholes quite easily. Just change my foot here. This is the buttonhole foot. Might help if I'd picked up a button. 2 seconds. Literally see me disappearing to get my buttons. Now I made a mistake when I ordered my buttons. I thought I'd ordered jeans buttons, which are the ones where you've got the nail at the back and then you hammer them in. I accidentally ordered ordinary buttons but with the jeans design. So you can see here they look very much like a jeans, standard jeans button, but on the back they are, you sew them in. Now I have just recently completed a project and used these, and you can't tell, and actually I really like jeans buttons, I've got no issues with them, but actually I'm sure you all had the similar issue where you go to hammer them in and then sometimes the nail itself goes skew-whiff, or you hit it wrong and you end up damaging the buttons. So actually no damage, yeah, you can't go far wrong with sewing on a button, so I'm quite pleased with that. And obviously you pop that into the back of your buttonhole foot, like that. And then that will automatically decide how big the buttonhole needs to be, which is really cool. Each machine will do this differently, I'm sure. Then, so I just want to give this a look one more time. Make sure they all line up and everything. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Now the reason we do this now is because obviously when you do, it's not on there. When you would be later on in the stage of making these jeans, you wouldn't be able to get in close enough once the fly placket is made. Just want to make sure they're all lined up evenly, I think so. There you go. Okay, so change it to a buttonhole. Yeah, that one. Undone. Let's get the others done here. Can't quite see my, maybe a little bit darker than, I'm putting a purple line onto denim fabric, which makes it a little bit tricky to see. Looking good. Number 3, let's just make this dark and make sure I can see that. There we go. There we are. the buttonhole's completed, and again you can see how nicely the cream thread shows up there. So let's just get rid of all these extra bits that appear. Yep, happy with that. Okay, so cut the buttonholes, as this will be harder to do later on in the construction. Fair enough. Again, I thought I'd just share with you how I cut my buttonholes. There are various different ways to do this, and a number of people I know use sort of a buttonhole chisel. What I like to do is I pop a pin, oops, not into my finger ideally, pop a pin into the end of the buttonhole itself, and then use my standard stitch ripper, and then just work your way along. Now, what I've decided to do is I've made myself a little hole there, and then I'm going to go back in. Don't need the pin if I'm going to do it this way with my little scissors. Go up to the end. That's one. Make myself a little hole and go back in with the scissors. Now obviously this is denim, so it's quite tough to get through. Normally the stitch ripper would be capable of going through all the layers. That's two. Last one. Now the reason I pop a pin in each time, even though I know this isn't strong enough to go through it, is if it did suddenly decide to go for it, I want to have something to stop the stitch ripper going through the end of the buttonhole. There we go. So that is our first section of our button placket completed. So now it's asking me, I think, to I think I'm going to go and finish the edge of this this button placket now. Back in a second. Okay, there we are, the button placket complete. Now I would say at first glance I think these look quite close to the edge, but if you look in the picture they are also very close to the edge, so I'll go with it for now. And I'm not too heavy-handed on my jeans, so hopefully it'll be okay and they won't burst out. Yeah, they're pretty tough stuff anyway. So next up is folding the fly extension, piece 8 in half with right sides together. So just whiz over here and grab that. Just make sure I put the notches in. Yep. Okay. So fold the fly with right sides together. There we go. Sew a 1/4 inch, so 0.6 centimeters from the raw edge. From the raw edge along the bottom edge, only using regular thread. Right sides together. Fold the fly extension half to right sides together, sew 1/4 inch. What do I use? Turn the fly extension all the way around. Okay, sorry, I've done that around the wrong way, haven't I? It's that way. There we go. Take that foot off. This one back on. Okay. Change it to a standard stitch and then I'm just confusing my machine, beginning to turn it to back to the normal stitch. And then it says turn the fly extension right way round and reshape the curved bottom edge and press and steam. So let me just go and do that. Okay, so you join me a little bit later in the day. I've been for a dog walk, I've had some lunch, and I've got to be honest, I'm having a head scratching moment already. So things were going really well. I've done the stay stitching, I've done the button fly pieces, until I get to this picture here. Okay, I'm going to try and show you this picture. And it circles around piece number 9. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to share this with you. I've left one piece on the ironing board. Okay, sorry about that. So you saw me put my buttonholes in place using the template. So the template says cut 1 right side up, which is exactly what I've done. I then folded it right sides together and put my buttonholes in. And there isn't any room for error in what I've just done. So let's imagine this piece is the paper, this is the fabric, for example. Obviously it's the pattern piece. These are the buttonholes this side. So I'd fold it right sides together. Yep, that's exactly what I've done so far. Except, and so you can see here the curve is on this side, except in the picture, the curve is that way around, which then means that you're looking at the back of the buttonholes. I don't know if I'm making that clear to you or not, and if you've made a pair of Dawn jeans, you may well be experiencing the same thing. So I wanted to be able to put the pieces 7, 8 and 9 as per the picture, this picture in the book, except my piece, pattern piece number 9, is the other way around. I can't work it out. I've cut it out again, I've redone it, and it's still the same. So let's hope that comes out in the wash the correct way round, because I don't think that's the right picture, or I've done it horribly wrong. But I genuinely can't see how I've done it wrong, because that is as simple as instruction as it gets. So we'll let it play out and see what comes across. So just to give you a recap, so I've done my buttonholes, I've folded the fly extension and put that through on itself, which is fine. I've done the edge of the button fly, and now it comes to the part where I need to attach it to the trousers. Okay, so I appreciate you can't see me at the moment, but you can hear me. I'm going to do this with you. So we've got our right front piece right side up. We're going to place the fly extension onto this. I hope you can see that. Yeah. Line that up like that. So let's lay out the right piece right side up. Place the fly extension on the crotch edge of the right pant leg with right sides together. Line up the finished edges of the fly extension and front crotch, and ensure that the crotch notches are aligned. Yep. Okay, right, so that's sew that in place. Oh, lost me. Lost this thingy. There we go. And sew that in with a 0.6% seam allowance. Okay, so you can see there, that's the first section done. Okay, so it says flip the fly extension out so that the right jean leg and the fly extension are facing right side up. Top stitch along the entire length of the seam using top stitch thread. Do not backstitch. Instead, pull the top stitch thread through to the wrong side. Okay. I'll just go over that one more time because that's a visible seam. Okay, so to show you there, so because I'm not using top stitch thread, I'm hoping you can see that, I just lengthened the stitch to 4 in order to put that top stitch line in. Okay, next page. Okay, so we need the other leg now. Place the left front leg right side up. That's this one. Place the fly on top of the left front leg with right sides together so that the crotch notches are aligned. Like we did on the other side. It looks like that. So to the front using regular thread, 1.5 centimetres from the edge along the entire length of the fly. Right. My stitch neck length the normal. And that's sewn at 1.5 centimetres. I know it's a bit weird, you can't see my face, but there you go. Hopefully you can see what it is I'm sewing instead. So it says clip into the seam allowance just below the fly 7, which is this piece. So clip into the seam allowance. Okay. Just below, so turn the fly to the inside and press the folded edge, ensuring the fly will not show from the right side of the jeans. There you go, so I hope you can see that there. Okay, you see that? Oh, let me go that way. Yep, so you get a nice smooth edge here. No, I'm just going to go and iron that. Okay, so I've ironed that so that it's to the inside, and then it says on the right side of the front, top stitch 1 to 2 millimeters from the folded edge using top stitch thread, sew the entire length of the fly. Do not backstitch, instead pull it through. Okay, so I changed my stitch length to 4. And we're going really close to the edge here. There we go. Nice, a long, neat edge there. Okie dokie. So turn the front left leg, switching legs again I think. No, it's this one. Turn the front left leg around so that the fly is facing out. I think that's what that means. Place the button fly 9 on top of the fly 7 so that the curved edges are aligned. There we go, like that. Using a contrasting regular thread, sew a line of basting stitches around the outer edge of the fly through the fly, button fly and the left leg on the wrong side of the garment. These basting stitches will be used as a top stitching guide, so keep them close to the edge and neat. Look. Okay, so if I increase my stitch length to 5, which is my longest stitch length, that'll be a basting. At least. There we go. How are we doing so far? All right? Okay. Okay, there we go. Take this nice and steady around this curve at the bottom. On the outside you can see there you've got sort of a guide of what your sort of fly is going to look like shape wise. That's a nice way of doing it actually. In other methods I've seen you have to sort of base that in or draw it in later, so that's a good way of doing it. Okay, so here we are. So on the right side of the garment, so here we go. On the right side of the garment, sew very close to the basting stitches using top stitch thread. Sew all the way around the entire centre front and do not back stitch. Bring your top stitch thread through to the wrong side of knot. Sew a second line of top stitching 0.6 inside of the first line, repeating the same steps. And it gives a tip here, go slowly and carefully for this part. This is one of the most visible areas of top stitching and it's worth taking your time and doing it well. Okay, so I can go back over that line, which is quite convenient really. Going to take out some of those basting stitches and I'm going to do the second row, which is the sort of traditional look you get on the jeans. second row. I might do really steady as you come around the curve. Would have been better to look at the stitch length before I sewed it, so unfortunately it defaulted back to 2.5 centimetres, so just going to go back over that stitching. There we go. Right, because I went over it twice, I've got to just unpick some stitches here. There. Top stitching of the fly complete. Hope you can see that. It would be more visible, slightly more visible with the top stitching thread, but as you know, I'm not doing that. So let's see what's next. Okay, so remove your basting stitches. Yep, so place the front two pieces right side together. You can see what I'm doing here. A bit of a battle with that to get that to line up. Okay. I think. Okay. Put that in there, so keep it. Okay, place front pieces right sides together and sew along the remaining section of the crotch seam using regular thread, not 1.5 centimetre from finished edge. Clip into the seam allowance and press the seam allowance towards the left side, the same as the button fly. Okay. Okay, so sewn the inner section of the crotch together. There we go. So I'm just going to clip into this seam allowance and iron it to the left. Okay, so now it's sewing on the right side of the garment. Top stitch. Let's have a look. What have we got going on here now? Coming together. Cool. Looking good. Oh, I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's get a shot of those stitches. See if I picked up too much in sewing that. That's right. Right, so on the right side of the garment, top stitch 1 to 2 millimeters from the seam line along the crotch seam, starting from the bottom of the crotch up towards the fly. Use top stitch thread. Stop 2 centimeters above the bottom edge of the fly. Pivot and sew across the fly through all layers of fabric. Pivot once more and sew back down the other crotch seam from the original line of crotching. You will now have 2 parallel rows of top stitching joined just above the bottom of the fly. It's probably easier if I show you that. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but basically that's the traditional stitching line that you would see in the crotch curve. So let me get into position and do that. some additional stitches there, I think. Oops, one more. Oh, there we go. Okay, so you can see there now you've got that traditional. You can see that all right. It's really hard for me. Yeah, sewing up from the crotch seam and double row top stitching, and then it meets the fly here. And you've got sort of a pivot point here, and then it's saying. You will now have 2 parallel rows of top stitching joined just above the bottom of the fly here and here. So yeah, that's fine. It is advising use top stitching thread, sew a bar tack along the line of stitches joining the crotch to the top stitching. This should go through all layers of fabric including the fly extension. And then sew another bar tack on the inner line of top stitching just above the point where the top stitching begins to curve around towards the centre front. This will also go through all layers including the fire extension, so that's just down on the corner here. Draw off my threads. Okay, might not be able to see that too well, then I've done a bar tack here. I've opted to not put one in the crotch curve. Okay, so I'm guessing that is our fly completed. Okay, I'm going to show you this as we are learning, or I'm literally showing you this in real time. As my husband puts the kettle on, which is fine. I realise what I've done here is where I've sewn the second row of top stitching. You can see I've sort of sewn over where the edge of the buttons would be. So I'm going to go back in now and take this second inner row of top stitching out and move it so that it's closer and doesn't go over the buttonholes. But there you go, it's one of those things. Okay, there we go. So that's the finished fly. It is, I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit bumpier than I would like here, but there is the concealed button placket inside. and the mystery is solved with regards to the piece that I wasn't sure about, because yeah, it flips around to the right side so that the right side of the button is showing. Just think that picture was a little bit confusing. So my top tips so far, if I show you in the book here, this is the bit. This is the piece that I was talking about. When you actually sew that, it's the other way around. So that's a bit confusing, that picture. And the other advice I would give you is when you're top stitching here, this second row of stitching, just make sure you don't go over your button line, because it is incredibly close, particularly with the seam allowance, but you can't really see because I'm trying to show you one-handed, but the buttons do finish. They're not covered up by anything. So yeah, really pleased with the construction so far. So let's see what's next. Okay, we move on to the pockets now. So I'm really pleased with the construction so far. I hope you're hanging on in there with me in terms of the sew along style I've come up with. As I say, I've not done this before in terms of a sew along with anybody, and it's really good for you to sort of find come along with me in terms of the journey of the mistakes I'm making and things. So pockets. So fold the top edge of the coin pocket and the wrong side by 1 centimetre and press. Fold in one more, a little more than 1 centimetre and press. Okay, let me just pop over to the iron and do that. Okay, I know it looked like I did that by eye, but I did actually measure it. Okay, so top stitch 1 to 2 millimetre from the top using top stitch thread on the right side of the fabric. Sew another line just underneath that one. Okay, let's do that. Okay. When you're doing my advice on when you are doing top stitching, let me just raise you up a little bit again. My advice on when you're doing top stitching on anything is to find a point on your foot that you can align the stitching with, and then find another point, so you've got like grooves and things in the foot itself, and that's what I use to sort of line up and make sure I've got a straight edge, but also that it's consistent. Okay. That's the first one done. It's probably a bit too high. Okay, so there's the top stitching done on the coin pocket. Okay, so it says fold 1.5 centimetres along the remaining straight edge of coin pocket and press. Okay, I will check that, but I've done it by eye for a minute. Okay, so there is the coin pocket completed, and it's now onto the pocket facing. So now I've got to finish the raw edges of the right pocket facing, which is this one, I suppose. Or is it this one? No, right pocket facing. I don't know. Finish the raw edges of the right pocket facing and coin pocket along the curved edge using your preferred method. Finish the raw edges of the left pocket facing along the curved edge using preferred method. Okay, So basically the raw edge on both of these. Back in a second. There, hopefully you can see that I finished the raw edges of both of the the coin pocket and the pocket facing here. So next job, let's have a look. Let's move on to this one, I think. Let's have a look now. Let's unwrap my pocket bag. I went for something a little bit funky for the pocket bag. There we go, look, a nice leopard print. So what's it saying? Okay, it says place the pocket facings on the pocket bag with wrong sides together so that the side seam and waistline notches line up. Okay, so wrong sides together. Let's get that out of the way. So that's going to go like that, I think. And remember to put the side. Don't seem to have a notch in the sides. Hang on a second. Just add that in. I'm not sure what happened there. Got 2 notches, 3 notches there. Let's see the one that's. Oh, no, I haven't got a notch. So I've got a notch there. Oh, that must be what they meant. Right, my mistake. Okay, so it's over here that we're right. Is that right? Okay, wasn't expecting that. It's going. Well done with me. Okay, yeah, that's that there. Sorry, that was a bit of a head scratcher. Can you see that okay? Yeah. That's that one. I'll move that one over there a bit, and then this one goes here like this. So they attached wrong sides together with the side stitch matching. Okay. So we're doing this so that the right side of the pocket bag will be visible on the inside of the garment as an attractive feature, very similar to ginger jeans for that. Sew the pocket facings to the pocket bag using regular thread, sewing 0.6 cm from the edge all the way around the facing. Okie doke.
Modify my design. I've got a couple of bits already in there, but I haven't got it.
You have or haven't? Oh, good.
I haven't. I've got bits for the side.
Yeah. So that's then sewn on there. Can you see that okay? There we go. And that one. So one there and one there. Okay. So Okay, so I've sewn in along the pocket edge there, and now it's saying to clip into the seam allowances here. Be careful not to go over the stitches. Being left-handed, you can't see anything I'm doing, I expect. My hand is right over the camera, I expect. So there you go, clipped into the edges. The right-handed out there probably looks very candid indeed. Okay, so we then turn the pocket to the insides. Oh, it's coming together now, looking good. Right, I'll be back in a second when I've pressed that. Now, for some of you out there, you'll be going, yep, she's done that wrong. Yeah, you'd be quite right. I've just done the classic where you put right sides together. The instructions are clear as it says put right sides on right, or right sides up on right. Didn't do that. So I just had to unpick it and do it again. And it's because when you put these to the inside, you then fold this that way and you want to expose the nice side, which is reverse to what you'd have ordinarily. So let's try that again, shall we? Okay, now that I've sewn them and flipped the pockets to the inside, now I'm going to put 2 rows of top stitching on either outer edge of the pocket. Just make sure when you're ironing this bit that you roll it so that you have nothing of the pocket peeping out. Let's put those top stitching in. Do the next one. Quite far away. Let's move you a bit closer. Ooh, lost it all then. Okay. Let's try this. Because I'm not using the top stitching thread, this is so much quicker because I'm not having to change the reel and the bob. Oh, change the reel every time. But actually, if you are using top stitching thread, then in your bobbin just put ordinary cotton. Don't put top stitching thread. There are very few machines that will cope with top stitching in the bobbin because it's much thicker. There we go. Stitched pockets. I can see that. Yes, there we go. Lovely. Let's see what's next. Okay, so what happens now is you fold the pocket back on itself, which feels a bit alien because you're going wrong sides together, which is what caught me out a little while ago. But then you'll see that on the outside you have the pocket finished, and on the inside you've got this lovely pop of colour from the choice of pocket lining you've gone for. And then I'm going to sew this edge here and finish it on the overlocker on both sides. Okay, so this the construction of the front part of the jeans is pretty much there. So that's the pockets from the inside, and if you flip it over, can see there the construction from the front. So you've got your pocket facings nice and nice and visible on the outside. Nice little top stitching going on there. And then what you do is you baste the inside of the pockets just to keep them secure whilst you work on the rest of the construction. So now we move on to the back pockets. Okay, with the back pocket pieces, I've just ironed in by simply doing something like that. You can see that. Literally put them at right angles. Just ironed in some lines for guidance of top stitching. So I'm just going to put a quick design on the back there, just something very simple. But I know there are lots of templates available out there for back pocket stitching. Okay, so just finished off the design there on the back pocket. Just something very simple. Yeah, still pretty pleased with how the standard thread is showing as opposed to top stitching thread. Although I appreciate the top stitching thread would have given, it is thicker and therefore would be denser, but happy with it so far. So now I need to turn this over and fold the edges in and then look at the placement on the back of the jeans. Okay, so here I am at the stage of putting the back pockets on. Now I'm going to try and show you this pick it up a little bit because the angle is very interesting. Now she says dropping it. I've not actually put back pockets onto jeans before. No, mere jeans I have, but I'm pretty sure they go on almost straight. But these go on at quite an angle. I'm hoping you can pick that up in the footage I'm showing you there. I've even laid the pattern piece back down on top, which I'll show you. Hopefully you can see this too. So you can see there that the top aligns and the curve, and you can see there the top edge of the pocket is actually at quite a slant, but I've put the pockets in right. Again, it's just one of those steps in this pattern that I just need to trust in the process, don't I? But yeah, it's quite exciting actually. Really pleased with how the top stitching went and everything on those. So I'm just going to top stitch this one and then place the other one and top stitch that in, and I'll come back to you. Okay, so there's the back pockets put on. I'm pretty pleased with how that's come out actually. Odd thing happened here. I had to change my bobbin and the tension seems to have changed in my machine, so I don't know what's going on there. Not enough to make me change it, but you can hardly see the stitches in between now. But it just, yeah, it looks really quite different, but I think from a distance it'll be okay. It's not often that I have someone staring at my bottom, I don't think, so I think I'll be okay. But really pleased with how this is coming together, yeah, I'm imagining when this is on, this is more of a flattering angle for a back pocket, which is why Megan Nielsen designed it that way. But yeah, super pleased. Let's see what's next. Okay, it's time for the yoke. So we've got the yoke pieces here, and they've got notches to match up to in the both the back piece and the yoke here. So I'm going to sew these on with a 1.5 centimetre seam allowance, and then we finish this raw edge and fold this up and iron the seam allowance and then finish this edge and then top stitch. Okay, I'll show you what that looks like when it's finished. Okay, so really starting to look like a pair of jeans now. So that's the yoke attached and top stitched into place. Let's have a look and see what comes next. Ooh, we start to get to put the jeans together, so I'll come back to you in a second. Yes. Okay, I hope you can see that okay. Really starting to look like a pair of jeans. How exciting is that? That is the back pair of the jeans done, I think. What's next? Oh, inseam. Let's give that a go. Hello, so I'm adding this little segue in after I've been editing the video, because I realised that in my haste to show you what the jeans look like, I didn't explain that I needed to put the inseams together, which I did obviously, and then baste the side seams to do the first fitting. And that's at the point at which I remembered to start filming again. I also have to say that my lovely husband helped me by holding the camera and doing a bit of filming for me, but I forgot to tell him to turn the phone on to landscape and not portrait. So the next section of film you see is where I've sewn the inseams of the jeans and then basted the outer seams, and you get an idea of what sort of tweaking you might need to do at that stage. So that's the next clip that's coming, but I just thought I'd explain why the change in landscape, literally, or portrait as it so happens, and what I've actually done in this step. I'm learning as I go. Sorry about that, guys, but here it comes. Okay, with my guest visitor here, with Alice with me. You all right, Alice? You're going to help me, darling? Wanted to talk you through... Oh, thank you. It's perfectly timed, yet you're on camera right now. We're meant to be telling everybody about my jeans. So I'm mid-fit here, and I've basted the jeans together. Can I put you down just for a second? As irresistible as you are, darling. Can you? Yeah, so I can show everybody. Okay, I am... Oh, don't you start. It's all Whippet Corner this evening. So I'm super pleased with these. So as you know, I've gone for the concealed button placket, which went in really, really well, despite a couple of me-made errors. Yeah, but look at the fit here. So we've obviously got the waistband to go, but I'm really pleased with the pockets. And I've got to tell you, they are super comfortable. I'm just going to go back a little bit. My husband is lovingly holding the phone for me whilst I'm showing you. So they are the wide leg cropped length. Now they'll be a little bit shorter by the time I've done the hem, but I absolutely love them. They are so comfortable. A straight size 14, no alterations. That has never happened to me with any trousers I've made. So I am a very happy lady. But I think it's about 7:30 now. I've been on and off sewing most of the day, so I'm calling it a day now and having a well-earned one of these. So yeah, I'll be back with you later in the week to show you the waistband, and then we're done. Okay, hello. So I'm back with you again. It's a number of days later. I've just finished work, just put my leisure wear on, and I'm about to commence my jeans again. I've got a vital cup of tea here. Now I've had a look back at the footage so far, and I apologise, there are sections there where I've moved the camera mid-make and you can't see some of the work that I'm working on. But hopefully you can hear the level of concentration or the speed of the machine, and I have talked through all the actions I've taken. So there's a whippet walk in the room. So the house is a little bit quieter today. I also noticed there have been some noises in the background, so apologies for that. But I did warn you, it's a sew along with me, but sewed with me really. There's Lara walking around. There it is. Okay, so I left you drinking a glass of wine. It seemed like the right thing to do after a day of sewing. And just here, if we can hoik them off the chair, are the jeans so far. So I did put a picture in. So I'm at that point now where these the jeans are basted together at the side seams. And I am so pleased with the fit. I'm not actually going to change anything about it. I'm really comfortable with how it's turned out. So it was a bit strange because my long stitch length is basically, and you can see there, it's sort of made the side seams pucker. But that's only because it's a long stitch and it's, see look, it's sort of pulled itself through a little bit, but that's okay. So I am now at the stage where, I'll turn them back inside again. I can't tell you, I've made quite a few pairs of trousers over my time, and a few pairs of jeans. Now obviously this style of Dawn jeans, actually all three of the styles of Dawn jeans aren't skinny jeans, and therefore the fit, I guess, would be slightly easier, although there's adjustments to be made most of the time. I've never put a pair of trousers on and not needed to adjust them, so it's a win-win situation for me so far. This fabric has been absolutely lovely to work with. Yeah, just all good, really good. And as you know, I'm not using top stitching thread, I'm using standard cotton, and again, it's working really well. I posted a picture on Instagram yesterday, I think, of the back pocket, so some of you may have seen that. I can't find it. A picture of the sort of the back pocket with the top stitching on, and someone asked me actually, was that top stitching thread or standard, and they were really surprised when I said it was standard. Drink a cup of my tea. So we have effectively got, so this is the point at which I have a tendency to rush towards the end, but it's been really good to give myself a break and walk away from these for a while, because I want to make sure the finish to the end is as fine as it was at the beginning. I tend to rush waistbands and things. I don't know if anyone else is like that. I'm so keen to get the project finished and ready to wear. So I'm glad I've sort of broken this up into segments. So we've got the waistband, belt loops and rivets to go, and the buttons obviously. Although actually I sewed 3 of the buttons on. Let me just undo that a second. So so that I could, there we go. And I hope they're not going to get in the way when I do the waistband construction. I don't think they will, because the waistband goes on the top and there's one more button to go on the waistband, so I think we'll be okay. So here we go. So it does say here, so the pattern is drafted with minimal ease through the hips for a classic vintage inspired fit. As with any jeans, your handmade jeans may fit close initially but will stretch out over time. And it basically says turn the jeans right way around, which I've just done, to try them on, and decide if you'd like to make any adjustments. Once you've figured out how much you need to adjust your jeans at the side seam, sew your final side seam using regular thread, trim the side seam allowances, and finish the raw edges. So let me do that with you, and then I will finish the edges. Okay. Yeah. So how's everybody's week? How is everybody's week going so far? I need my goggles back on. I hope everything's all right. Seems like summer's disappeared for a minute, which is a bit frustrating. It's been a miserable week here in the UK. Yeah, but absolutely scorching this time last week, and this time this week. Rain, 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 rain. Done. I'd love to hear in the comments if any of you are making jeans at the moment, what patterns you've decided to go for. Yeah, I've just absolutely loved making these so far. Now it wasn't that long ago since I made jeans, but yeah, something about this pattern has been so much easier. I totally appreciate there are different levels of easy for different sewers. Okay, I'm going to pause you there for a second, and I am going to go and finish the side seams on these. Back in a sec. Okay, so I've I've sewn the side seams, but as I'm sharing this with you, warts and all, another tip from me. So I've done the side seams, but I must be quite close to my seam allowance, or not quite over it, because, let me move my tea out of the way, when I've sewn the side seams in, can you see here there's, a few threads missing? So I haven't quite caught the corner, there, I think you can see that, yeah. So there's the corner of the pocket, and also there's the side seam. And here is, I haven't quite caught the corner of the pocket in. So I'm going to go back in now and just catch a little bit more so that it becomes more like that. And then you can see that the outer edge of the pocket is caught in. So let me just do that with you a second. Yeah, I'd be curious to know what your favourite pair of jeans is, or if you're going to be making jeans, what's on your jeans wish list, for example. Yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah, just a lovely sense of accomplishment, I think. So I'm just feeling now, so let's see obviously the inside of the pocket, I'm just feeling now for where that edge is, so I can just take it in just a smidge to capture that, the edge of that pocket. I hope I didn't have my stitch length in the wrong length. It's just that top bit. Not quite there. Not quite there. Where is it? I did tell you this is going to be warts and all, and see how my brain is working. I hope you're finding it useful though. I haven't watched too many sew-alongs if I'm honest, but the ones I have watched are sort of, you know, with ginger jeans and things like that, and they're actually the professionals that have written the pattern and things. So you'd hope they'd get it right. But yeah, this is me and my lifetime scratching my head. So at least then hopefully you won't make the same mistakes as I am. Or it gives you food for thought. Still extraordinary, still there. Never mind, it's alright. Get there in a minute. I think if I cut those, if I put my glasses on, see what I'm doing. I've just got a few threads in the way. There, it's better. You see now what I mean? So caught the corner of the pocket in, both sides. Yeah, much neater finish. Just gotta. There's me. Just got a piece of cotton hanging out there, but yeah, it's much neater. So the next step is to, on the right side of the garment, mark the bottom of the pocket bag with a pin at the side seams. I must confess at this stage I missed a step. Not quite sure why. I don't know. Just distracted, I think. So I haven't sewn. I meant to do a line of top stitching on the inside crotch before you sew the outside or baste the outside seams. Somehow or other I missed that altogether. It doesn't matter, it was only for decorative effect really, but I did miss that in case you're following the instructions or anything and think, oh, I didn't do it, I missed it, just a mistake on my part. So, okie dokie. So it says, on the right side of the garment, mark the bottom of the bag with a pin in the side seam. Okay. So I reckon I'm going to poke a pin on the inside and poke it out through to the outside. I hope you can see that. Yeah. So I appreciate that's quite difficult to see. And then I will put a pin on the outside, because that's where I'll be able to see it from. Same thing again, go to the end, bottom of the pocket bag and put a pin in the bottom, poke it through, sticking out on the outside. I might go and pop the light on actually, and then so what I've done is you press the seam fabric towards the so you press the seam allowance on the inside towards the back of the jeans, and what we're doing now is we're going to sew that seam allowance into we're going to sew that seam allowance towards the back of the trousers, and we're going to do a line of stitching from the waist to the bottom of the pocket to anchor that in, and we do that just 1 to 2 millimeters from the edge. Just turning my stitch length back up to 4 because that's what I'm doing to replicate the top stitching. Here I go. There we go. I'm not going to sew a bar tack at the end of that. I'm comfortable that that's enough, especially in this lightweight denim, which is lovely, from Felicity Fabrics. I'm sure I've mentioned it already, but they just have the most wonderful selection of fabrics. And I believe today, so today is Thursday, the 1st of July. It's July. How did that happen? Where is this year going? It's amazing how quickly time is disappearing on us, and what an unusual year so far 2020 is turning out to be for everybody. Yeah, so on the 1st of July, Felicity Fabrics are advertising. They're putting lots of new fabrics on their websites, and we're looking forward to taking a moment and seeing those later. Okay, so I love making jeans, especially this sort of level of detail. You don't necessarily appreciate all the work that goes into the jeans. So there you go. You can see there, which is coming a little bit closer, the line of top stitching there all the way down to the pocket. Okay. So what is next? Belt loops. Okay. There we go. Ooh. So moving on to belt loops next. Yeah, so belt loops. Do you know, I've never put belt loops on anything I've made before. So an interesting thing, Cara, you're doing to yourself. Filming for the first time a sewed with me, plus trying to do belt loops that you've never done before, so well done you. So anyway, this is the belt loop piece, and I finished one edge, and it says in your preferred method, which I've been overlocking, and then it says fold the belt loop in thirds so that the raw edge is enclosed by the finish edge. Okie dokie, so go like that, and then like that, I take it, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go and iron that, and then, so basically, yeah, so if you can see there, you basically fold it in on itself and then over one more time, so you end up with the nice and neat on this side, and then just underneath is the finished edge. So I'm gonna go and iron that, and then it says to sew 2 lines of top stitching, so let me go and do that. Back in a sec. There we are, all done, which is really nice. Not, as I say, not done these before, but so far so good. Do you know, I ought to say at this point, actually, I was just talking about Felicity Fabrics there for a moment. Now, Felicity Fabrics have got a wonderful selection of not only fabric, but they also sell a number of patterns, and both this pattern, the Megan Nielsen Dawn jeans, and the denim were kindly given to me in exchange for this this review. They also have a wonderful selection of buttons and some haberdashery as well. So I really do encourage you. Caroline and Fliss, it's a mother-daughter team, run the Felicity Fabrics website, and they are a year old. I thought they've been going a lot longer than that, but it's amazing, and I'm just really lucky to work with them as part of their blogging network. And the blogging network is truly representative of the UK and Ireland, actually. And we discovered recently that there's probably one of us in each county, pretty much. It's not a huge team, but we definitely cover a lot of geography, which is so lovely. And everybody gives a very honest review of the fabulous fabrics, but as well as also the journey they go on with them. So I do encourage you to look out for those vlogs. So I have got to cut the belt loops, and I've done a classic Cara thing and left my tape measure in the other room. That's where you get to see me in my leisures. Hang on a sec. I've got a, this is a Mandy boat tee, this beautiful soft jersey. Got this from a local fabric shop in a place called Horham, near where I live. It's just the softest thing ever. And I've got the sunny trousers on by Victor Mason, or Mason Victor. I always get that around the wrong way. Yeah, okay. Okay, so let's look. 5 belt loops that are 9 centimetres long. Okay. My theory is measure the first one and then use that as a guide to make sure I've done that accurately enough. I have. The pubs are opening this weekend, and what your tipple of choice is. Do you have one? I absolutely love drinking bitter, a good old traditional Harvey's or something like that, which is it's a local brewery actually. Harvey's Brewery in Lewis. Such a lovely part of the world. If you're ever in this neck of the woods. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Cut 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just cut my pattern piece a little bit longer because I seem to have slightly more there, but that's right, that's 5 of those, that's easy. So place the belt loops right sides together on the waistline of the jean. Okay, my jeans here, the threads off them. Okay, it says a belt loop will sit directly over the centre back top stitching. Place it right sides together. Okay, we can do that. Pop a pin in there. It's exciting, never done this before. 2 belt loops will sit on the back yoke 1 inch from either of the side seams. Okey-dokey. Just there. What about you lot? Are you belt loopers or not? I suppose quite a lot of the style of trousers I make don't really require belt loops, and if I'm honest, I probably won't wear these with belt loops either. But I'm going all out on my jeans experience this time around. Pop that in there. The 2 remaining belt loops will be placed next to the top stitching on the front pockets. Okie dokie. Okay, that side of that. Okay, I'll show you in a second. So these instructions are magic. Now Heather Lou does a most amazing sew along for the ginger jeans, and I have done that. But even in that, I found that made a little bit more confusing. Maybe it's because I did the top stitching and you have to go back and forth and forth and back. But so far, these are working like a dream. But belt loops and waistbands, well, belt loops, you know, I've never done. Waistbands also are a little tricky when it comes to me, so hopefully that won't happen on this occasion. Just wanted to show you. So you've got belt loop in here, which is, so there's the top stitching for the pocket, and there's the belt loop, and then you've got one at the side, 1 inch from the side seam, one going straight across the centre back, and another one there, and the other one on the other side of the pocket, again next to the, so there's the stitching for the pocket, and it goes right next to it. So it says stitch in place 1 inch or 2.5 centimetres from the raw edge using a regular thread. Let me do those and I'll come back to you. It's worth me pointing that out to you, that actually, now if I hadn't read the instructions properly, I might have done that wrong. Because actually, it's actually sewed them down 1 inch from the top, 2.5 centimetres from the top. So that's quite a big, you can see my fingers are there, that's quite a big drop. I probably would have sewn those in on a standard sort of 1 centimetre or something. So just bear that in mind, top tip from me. So we then move on to the waistband now. So let's pop that to this one side for a second. Okay, so I have attached the fusible interfacing to the wrong side of the waistband. So there's two pieces of waistband. There's an inner and an outer waistband. And then it says place outer waistband right sides together on the jeans, ensuring that the notches line up along the waistline. The waistband will extend 1.5 centimetres beyond the centre front and ply extension at this point. Okay, so yeah, so one side of the waistband has notches on it and one side doesn't. So it does say here, take care that you do not insert your waistband upside down. I've done that before. There are no notches on the upper edge of the waistband. So let me see. Okay, so that's the way around it's going to go. It's not, it's going to go that way around. So it sort of curves down, and actually on the upper side, upper or lower side, let me think. Place outer waistband. There's just one notch on the side you're not attaching. On the side you are attaching, there's one notch here, one notch in the middle, which must be the side seam, the back seam, side seam, and then front again. So let me start. I'm guessing I am doing this with you. This could go wrong yet. Let's start at the back, I reckon, and work my way forward. I'd love to know what you're thinking right now. They're all going, no, start at the side. I'm going to start at the back. I am crazy. Crazy. Right, well, the good news is that the notches there do match up to the side seam. So that's going to be a good starting point. I'll just pop some more to meet in the middle. Now I'm working this weekend, so I won't get a chance to go to the pub this weekend, but maybe another time. I'm praying for good weather for the pubs and the restaurants that go outside eating and things, and the whole world feels nicer on a sunny day, doesn't it? That's what we need. We need a really good remainder of summer for the pubs and hotels and hospitality, etc., etc. Okay, flow this around. Phew, looks like it's going to extend. That's good. I'm really pleased. So I wonder if that notch there is to do with my centimetre and a half. No, not quite. So not sure where what that notch lines up to, if I'm totally honest. I think it says, it doesn't show any illustrations. Okay, so I'm going to start at the waistband because it needs to extend. by 1.5 centimetres to there. There is a notch there, but it's not lining up to that, to the 1.5 centimetres, so I am not sure what that's for. It all may yet be revealed. Have faith in the system, Cara. I'm sure you all talk to yourself too whilst you're sewing. Please tell me you do. Yep, extending by 1.5 centimetres, that's good news. Let's do the same on this side. Nearly there. Okie dokie, so that's pinned in place, and it says sew the outer waistband to the jeans at 1.5 centimetres from the raw edge using regular thread. So let's do that. Perfectly timed that my thread has decided to pop out. Actually, a strange thing happens with this thread. It's I bought a pack from Aldi or Lidl or somewhere like that. That had lots and lots of what look like moon threads in them. It was an absolute steal. Turns out not such a bargain. My machine does not like it. And it affects the tension in my machine because it doesn't widen the bobbin on very well and all sorts of different things. So that's the thread I'm using, and it's actually why when I changed the bobbin, I had regular thread in the bobbin before. And you remember me saying on my back pockets that the tension had changed, and that's what it's from. So lesson learned. My machine genuinely does prefer Gutterman thread only, really. If I try and put a different type of thread to sew the bobbin, it's just not having any of it. So I ended up with loads of thread because it was like a huge multi-pack, but I have donated it, so perfectly right if you're like hand sewing or something, but who needs that much thread if you're hand sewing? No one. Okay, just coming back round to the other edge. Okay, so far so good, I think. Yeah, looking okay. Let's hope so. Right, next. Press the outer waistband and seam allowances up away from the jeans, and then the next instruction, which I'm going to do away from camera because it's at the iron, is fold up 1.5 centimetres along the bottom edge of the inner waistband and press well. So I'll be back in a second. Every time I get up I have to sort of check my phone for messages and things, so every time I put the phone back down the angle changes slightly, so I hope you're bearing in there with me. So it's getting really close, guys. I'm really excited. So the waistband is on, and I took the opportunity to take out the Staystitching that I did right at the beginning of this process. Not all of it was visible because obviously it's been caught in the waistband, etc. But there was a few bits, so I've taken those out. So now the waistband is on, and you can see at this stage you've got a raw edge to the top, and then you've got sandwiched belt loops in there, which looks really smart. I have then folded up and ironed by 1.5 centimetres the bottom edge of the waistband. I hope I've got this around the right way, because it says, if I go back a page, it says here, there are no notches on the upper edge of the waistband, so therefore I've taken it when it says fold up the bottom edge of the inner waistband, that it is the edge with the notches on. So fingers crossed on that, because then it says place the inner waistband right sides together with the outer waistband and ensure the notches match up. So I'm assuming they may match up with the sides of bits and pieces. So I guess that's where the one and only notch on the top side comes in handy, because we know for sure that is the centre back seam. Find that on here. Yeah, I can match that up with this one, she says. Yeah, super. So I'm losing all track of time. It's Wednesday today. Yes, it is Wednesday. No sewing bee. Gosh, that feels different, doesn't it? I wonder how they're all feeling a week on. Exciting. Yeah. Okay, lost my train of thought there. It's all happened in the last few moments. My husband's just turned up, and if you hear lots of noise, it's because he's going around the back of our house, garden around the back of our house, dragging a new washing machine, because ours gave up the ghost this week. Just what you need. Yeah, so, and his a colleague from his work has come kindly help lift it. Although I do lift a lot of things in my day job, I have scoliosis, and my back doesn't like lifting stuff. I do lift a lot of things. I'm not very good to my body, but my husband is good to me, so he hasn't asked me to lift it. In case you're thinking, oh, so you're still sitting there sewing then, Cara, not helping. Lifting is not my speciality. Let's hope that putting a waistband on is. But so far so good. It seems to be going on smoothly, which is nice. There we go. Yeah, that's sort of, well, it lines up. This is a good starting point. I've also fed the dogs. Alice is, I wish you could see her. We've got a sofa in front of our front window, and she likes to put her back legs on the back edge of the sofa and her front paws on the windowsill and look out of the window. And we've got sort of net curtains that are in 3 pieces like they have in Europe, and in my experience in Europe, and it's so this net hangs over her head like this, and she looks like a bride. Not that you've ever seen a Whippet bride, but she looks like she's got a veil on. It's the cutest thing ever. So here I am gassing away to you. I've pinned this in, and it says sew along the waistband opening 1.5 centimetres from the raw edge using a regular, and then pivot. Okay, so start at the short edge and then pivot all the way along, and then pivot round, back round again. So let me do that. I do hope this isn't too loud, but it is the sound of a sewing machine, so I guess it is what it is, as they say. Don't know who says, but yeah, it's an expression I use a lot. Okay, let's do this. Oh, lost my foot. So sew up to the edge and then pivot at 1.5 centimetres. Let's go back a bit. There we go, lovely. Now I am taking my pins out as I go, but I confess that sometimes I am occasionally known to leave the pins in if it's an intricate thing. It's not good for your machine. To be honest, it's not good for your machine, so I'm told. But I will be told, I guess, when the inevitable happens, which is that I damage my machine or break a needle or something like that. But I don't do it very often. To anybody else? I wish there was an indicator when my bobbin would run out. Hang on a sec. I don't even know how far I got. I bet it didn't sew any of that. Now I've lost my doofer. So the bobbin ran out. Does that happen to anyone else? Didn't notice because it sounds like it's still sewing. And it didn't sew a single thing on, so I'm back to square one. Back with you in a moment. Does that ever happen to anyone else? Honestly, I need some sort of warning sign that my bobbin has run out because I just didn't hear it. And honestly, the amount of times that's happened to me where I've got to a really important bit like putting the waistband on or something, I get all the way around and I've taken all the pins out and everything, and I realise that I haven't sewn any of it, which is really unhelpful. And then I was explaining to you a minute ago about this fake cotton I've got. There's such a thing. It then decided that no, it wasn't going to work anymore, so sort of gummed my machine up for a second, so all been a bit of an adventure, so never mind. Back on track now. I'll share these things with you because it gives you some faith that it happens to absolutely all of us. Well, maybe it's just me, but hopefully you're watching thinking, yeah, I've been there. So now I've had to change my cotton, which doesn't exactly match which was there before, but shh, don't tell anyone. All the visible bits are pretty much done. So as you come back towards the other side, I'm going to pivot at the end. Back stitch and then off. So, okay. Right, that's exciting. Eventful as well. Right, okay, let's have a look. Look at my instructions here. See what's happening in the world. So sewn along there, and then it says grade back seam allowance and clip the corner of the waistband. Turn the waistband right way round and reshape corners to be squared. Press all waistband edges. So let me do that because that's not a tremendously not tremendously interesting to watch on the video, and I'll show you where I'm at in just a second. Okay, so here we go. So I've graded, I've cut down the seam allowance. I have sewn all around, pivoting at the corners, which I think you saw last time. And here I am. I have given this an iron. I just wanted to show it to you on the inside. I walked off with all my scissors somewhere, so let's just poke that corner out there. So normal family evening life is now upon me. It's been a few hours since I started recording. I've been doing other things in between. You can see various dog toys abandoned in the background there. My dogs go mad things, just taking them out for a walk. So, looking really exciting. The waistband has gone on beautifully, nice and even all the way around. I think you can just see there. So obviously you've got the belt loops still to finish here. But yeah, really, yeah, very excited about how this is coming together. So I think the next step now, so it says, please ensure that the inner waistband covers the waistband seam. So if you see on the inside there, it's obviously all the gubbins of what I've just sewn together. And what you do is, because you fold under the top half of the waistband, when you turn it under, sorry, slipping off the table here, when you turn it under, it's a really lovely, neat finish. And what you're aiming for is that covers all that gubbins on the inside. And it does say pin or hand based in place. So I think what I'll do is I will pin that in place and show you what that looks like. Okay. Okay, so I've pinned that around, and basically what that does is stabilises it whilst and just make sure that it still stays in place whilst you sew the top stitching, which I will do now. Yeah, it's really coming together. I'm very pleased so far. I'm going to make sure my corners are nice and sharp. I'm just going to grab my scissors. Okay, so top stitching complete. It really is, yeah, really pleased with that. Genuinely, I'm so pleased with how these have come together. Just love. They really look like a pair of jeans. I know, obviously I was going to make jeans, but you know, it's really chuffed with that. So, yeah, let's have a look. So, flip the belt loops up and fold under the raw edge of the loop so that the edge of the belt is aligned to the top of the waistband and the raw edges of the belt loop are underneath. Either top stitch. Yeah, okay, so I'm just going to top stitch those on. And let me do one with you, I suppose, as it's new to us both. So they're asking, you flip so you've got the belt loop there. So I'm going to fold the edge, top edge under, and then align it to the top edge of the waistband, like so. Oh, she says. There we go. So you'll have a nice neat belt loop there. Let me sew one, and then I'll do the rest and show you the finished article. Yeah, there we go. So exciting. Just, yeah, as I say, I've not done these before. I'm guessing I'm putting my stitching in line with the top stitching I've just done. So that's nice and neat. Trim my threads and I'll show you the finished article. There we go. First ever belt loop. Very excited about that. Let me do the rest and then I'll tell you what's next. Yeah. Ta-da! Belt loops. I haven't ironed it yet, so it's a bit creased, but and also I've got odd interfacing in my waistband. I'm determined to use it up. It's very stiff until I wash it, so some of that wrinkliness is because of the interfacing fighting with itself. But oh my goodness, I'm absolutely chuffed with these belt loops. Oh, just cutting threads off as I see them. Yeah, really pleased with that. And they've got jeans. exciting. Very, very exciting indeed. Okay, next step is button closure and rivets. Yeah, so she does give advice on testing this beforehand. So my husband is making my dinner in the kitchen, so I can hardly complain about the rustling. So the waistband buttonhole should sit 1.2 centimetres from the edge of the waistband. Jeans buttons can vary. Okay, that's fine. All right, you've seen me do buttons at the beginning of this mammoth video. So let me do the buttonhole, and then we must be on to rivets. Never done rivets before either. So, but look, that's the back page. That means we're nearly finished. How exciting is that? And I hope you're still with me, someone, maybe just one person. But anyway, no, it's fine. I'm sure there's some people still out there. Okay, let me do the buttonhole and I'll be back. Okay, we are on the final pair. The hair has finally lost it. The dog toys are all over the place and abandoned, and it's time to get serious with one of these. So I've never done rivets before, but I'm pretty sure they're similar to jeans buttons. So I've done my waistband with my buttonhole. I've sewn my buttonhole on. As you know, I've bought the wrong sort of buttons, but it's okay. They look, at first glance you wouldn't know that wasn't a genuine jeans button, which is fine. So I'm just looking at that. I'm not sure about my jeans button alignment there. I'm going to have to take that off and redo it. I have no idea what's happened there. Never mind. It's fine. I'll sort that out. But let's do the rivets. So you put hang on. You put rivets on at the stress points. I'm going to lose my phone. Put the rivets on at the stress points. So I'm going to move round and you won't be able to see what I'm doing, but hopefully you'll be able to see what the jeans are doing. So we're on to installing rivets, and rivets go on stress points traditionally on jeans. Now there's a purely optional step, you don't have to do this at all. I am quite excited because I've never done it before. In fact, I've never really made a pair of jeans that I wanted to wear that much that I would want to do it. So what you do is I'm going to use my unpicker to make a hole where I want because the rivets come in two parts. You've got the top there and the sort of nail part there. And what you do is you need to make a hole. If you have really lightweight fabric, you probably could get the point of the nail itself to go through the fabric, but at this particular stress point here in the very corner of the pocket, I'm going through quite a few layers because you've got the seam allowance, you've got the pocket itself, and then obviously the back of the jeans. Then you need to place it on something firm. So I'm on my dining room table here with a wooden chopping board underneath. Now I have never done this before, so here we go. They are very, very similar to jeans buttons. So you place the stud on top, hope that it stays where it needs to. You turn firm taps, and we are done. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it over and give it a tap from this side as well. Yeah, voila, done. So for the sake of your eardrums, I'm going to pop the rest on now, and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, there you go. Wow. Rivets and a pair of jeans. I am so pleased, so pleased at how well these have turned out. We've got all the rivets done there. The button fly is complete. Doing the rivets, I started on the back in case it went pear-shaped, but yeah, so rivets on the back there. I think I'm a little bit in love, I've got to say. Really, really pleased with these. So I've just got a hem. So I have turned these up already, and the instructions in the book give you guidelines on what to do, but obviously there's a little bit of personal preference in there. They are a cropped length anyway, and I love how they've turned out. They're actually very similar in shape to the Sapphire trousers. If you can hear my husband in the background, he's just apologising for his language there. Sorry about that. He's playing with the dogs, in case you're wondering, but yeah, it sounded a bit strange. Anyway, I'm just about to hem these with top stitch, and then I will do a piece to camera of an overall review and do some twirling with the finished article, but I am super pleased. Hello there. Thank you if you've been here since the beginning. Wow, it's been a mammoth one, but I totally understand if you've skipped to the end to see what it is I've finally made. I hope you enjoyed the process of making these jeans with me. It has been a warts and all video, yeah, including my mistakes. You can hear my click of my little remote control and things. You know, it's just me sharing my experience with you. I think that's what makes this medium so valuable. We're real people doing real things and really enjoying ourselves. So I made a pair of Dawn jeans. Yeah, I don't know what I did with the envelope, but anyway, there's the inside pattern. Let's just take a look. Here we go. Yeah, so Dawn jeans by Nielsen. Millions of people, I suspect, well, a lot of people anyway, have made these jeans, and they will be my go-to jeans pattern from now on in. I made a couple of errors which I have shared with you, but principally watch the top stitching on the button placket and the button placket itself. When you're creating it, the picture is slightly different to what they have in the book. It shows it's one way around and it's actually the other, but sew it as it shows in the book because it works out in the end. That's my advice there. Stick to the instructions in the book, and as I did, but it just didn't seem like it made sense to me at the time. And then watch the placement of the pocket bags, and again follow the picture and you won't go wrong. But I will stand up and show you a close-up now, just because that seems the right thing to do, but also insert some footage here of the jeans themselves. So I've got them on today. Actually, it's quite dark, isn't it? I'm not even sure you'll be able to see that. Oh, that's frustrating. But yeah, so the jeans themselves, super comfortable. I'm going to sit back down again because I think it looks too dark, but hopefully that'll come back. Yeah, there you go. So this is the Emmy blouse by Seamwork Patterns, made in a really lovely sort of, I don't know what it is, see-through polyester. I got it as a remnant. I absolutely adore these jeans. Go for it. If you've not made jeans before, my advice would be this is the pattern to go for. I think it's because they're not a fitted fit that it makes it easier to make. I also have just thoroughly enjoyed not faffing with top stitching thread, and that's just my opinion. I think top stitching thread looks fantastic. I've got another project to share with you coming up where I do use top stitching thread, so I just wanted to do it this time, and I'm really pleased to have. And I hope that putting this video into chapters has helped you, so that you can skip back and forth, and maybe even as you're sewing them these yourself. So I'm going to leave it there. A massive thank you to Caroline and Fliss from Felicity Fabrics for giving me the pattern and this wonderful 8.5 ounce denim. It still is available on their the website, and I believe they have just had or are having a sale. That's bad on me to not look that up just before I was videoing this last section, but nonetheless this denim is phenomenal, and yeah, one of my favourite makes ever. I go so far to say. So thank you so much for your time. I hope you're staying safe and well, and until next time, I look forward to seeing you. Take care. Bye bye.